Okay, hi guys, this is Ray from Next Forex Trade. Today is Thursday the 25th of July. And in today, what I'm going to do, in today's session, what I'm going to do is just go over yesterday's exit on the AUDCHF and look at some of the other opportunities I see in the market as well. Depending on what I see in some of the price action, this might be a flat day, so it might be a day where I don't trade. Have got some things on the watch list, but not every day is a trading day. Okay, so let's just kick off by looking over the trade that I took yesterday, which was on the AUDCHF. Now, if we go to the account, you can see this did come in at profit at 138.26 minus commissions. This was something that I was going for 200 from the initial setup. I was going for £200, so 1-to-1. And in fact, a cool thing that I noticed today is if you go to your account history and drag the trade onto your chart, it actually brings up the entries and the exits for you. So it's a bit hard to see because the contrast isn't great on this, but basically we've got a line here, a line here, and then it shows you the duration of the trade. So I'm just gonna make that a bit easier to see for you, because depending on what you're looking on, that might not be too visible. So that there was a stop loss. This here was the entry. I'm looking at this level here, and this blue line here, I've just covered it up, was the stop loss. So the numbers aren't exact to the pip, but you can see it's based on these levels that we've got in here. And also, let's just put in the entry. I'll have to watch this back to see how easy this is to see on the screen, because I know sometimes when I do it on YouTube, the colors actually change of the lines. So I'm saying purple, but it appears for you as white. And this was the, I think this was the exit. Yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to try and explain how I went about this and why I decided to exit it early. Now, firstly, starting out, I would say, I've mentioned this in other videos, getting used to trading if you're new. Definitely just, or even if you're, experienced, stick to your entries and your take profits and your stop losses. If it's part of your plan, do that. It just so happens that as part of my plan, I do manage trades when I see price action change in the lower time frames, and it may be some instances where there's other conditions, like there were yesterday, that would make me have the decision to take out a trade early. And I'm just going to put this on the 15-minute as well, so just give me one moment. So this is our entry, this is our exit over here. Okay, lastly entry. Okay, so it's looking kind of messy, but hopefully this will be possible to explain. So firstly, I'd enter the trade, as you said, based on the daily. First of all, I saw signs of reversal and interaction of it being overbought, and give me signs to think that the price could fall away. Watch other videos for information. The other video that I'd done on that yesterday for full details on that. But basically, the 4-hourly was correlating with that, as was the hourly and the lower time frames as well, 15-minute and 5-minute. Now, my entry price was, if we use the 15-minute in this example, my entry point was up here. And again, look at the other videos for exact definition of why I decided to do that. Now, my initial profit target was here, right? So we can see, obviously, we've got hindsight now because the market has moved on. But I got out of the trade at basically 1 minute. If we look at the timestamp here, 1 minute before the close of market. And the reason for this was there's quite a few reasons actually. Basically, firstly, the position was in profit. Now that isn't enough on its own for the position to be in profit, but there were other factors that were playing on my mind as well. Firstly, Wednesday into Thursday is a triple swap day. So when you have a position, you carry it overnight. In some instances, you'll be paid money. In other instances, you will be deducted money by your broker. And in this instance, because Wednesday into Thursday is a triple swap, meaning you'll be paid or have to pay 3 times the normal swap amount, that can have an impact on your profitability. So at this point, I was point of exit. Where did I exit? I exited. Sorry, I didn't include that on there. Let's put this on here. Just makes a different color. What should we make it? Yellow. Okay. So I exited here, but my profit target was way down here. Now, yeah, so going into what swaps are, basically they're based on the interest differentials between two currencies. So sometimes you'll receive a payment of a swap, sometimes you will be deducted it. And in day trading or swing trading, those, if you're carrying positions from one day to the next, swaps are a cost of business. They can have an impact on your profitability. And especially shorting this pair, AUDCHF, what was at the forefront of mind is that the cost would be quite an impact in terms of cost. Now, the triple swap is only Wednesday into Thursday with my broker, because the reason for that is the market is a 5-day week, so Forex is Monday to Friday in terms of trading hours, and on the weekend, obviously, market's shut. So to make up for those 2 days when the market has been closed, the charge of a swap is 3 times as much on Wednesday into Thursday. I don't know why. It's just the way it is, but it's a cost of business. So nearing the close of market, that was heavy on my mind. I achieved a relatively good amount of profit off of the trade, and holding the position and the likelihood of it going back on me, there was a good likelihood that I could had to give some profit out of the profit back anyway, because the way I was managing this as well is using the lower highs to protect my profit. So when the price, let's just put that in a better context. So with my entry up here and the price moving down like this, if the price had started to move past these previous highs here, that would have been a good time to exit the trade, because the price is breaking structure. It's starting to make higher highs rather than lower highs. So as I'd entered here with a stop loss up here initially, it wouldn't really make sense, just because of what how I interpret price action, to see the market reverse on me and give back that profit. I'd much prefer to protect profits above here, and obviously that's a lower amount than is exiting here. So that was one of the reasons, basically, to because of the impending swaps, I decided to exit slightly early. Now, that wasn't the only reason. Going into the Asian session, the swaps get dramatically wider with many brokers, just because of the drop-off in liquidity in the market. So at the close, at the time this the time this market closed, you may see that the price in that very next candle dropped down and pretty much came near my profit target. But you have to be aware that these charts are based on the bid price, so the price that you would sell at. Now, because I was shorting it, I was getting what I needed was the offer price, so price to buy back the position. And even though this price looks like it dropped all the way and it could have been nearing profit, it wasn't. The spread on this was much wider. It was about a 5 pip spread at the time. So AUDCHF, we can see here on the spread at the moment it's 0.8. That's not 8. It's 0.8, 0.7, and this was about 5.55, if you like, so 5.5 on the spread. So that spread has an impact on my ability to maneuver in a trade. So it was kind of a executive decision, if you like, to close out the trade before, firstly, I'd incur the swaps, secondly, before the spreads got wider, which would lose me losing some control to manage the trade. So prior to the market close, the spreads were still relatively thin, definitely not as wide as 5 or 6, and that's all giving money back to the market in terms of the trade. So I did make the decision to close out the trade early. I'm definitely happy with the way that it was traded, and most of the time that is all that you're trying to do. You need to just ensure that win, lose or draw, you're happy with the way that you've traded the position. You've managed your money correctly. You've anticipated what the market could do, and you've traded around that. I mean, you can see there's a loss here in the market. There's a few break evens in the trading statement, and each of those, I'm happy with the way that I've traded those, even though that there's losses and in some I haven't made money. In some instances, I may have left money on the table. But I have conviction in the analysis that I do to ensure that I've stacked the odds in my favor as much as possible. The market's going to do what it's going to do. The only thing I can do is manage my positions around it. And taking into consideration these different types of variables, okay, how soon is the swap going to, how much is the swap going to be? What's going to happen in, sessions where there's less liquidity, more liquidity? That's what can take the game that you're playing here from, simple checkers to a game of chess, really, because you're just trying to protect your capital. You're trying to win in the long run, and you're not trying to, be smarter than the market. You take what the market gives you, rather than you trying to arbitrarily say I want this amount. So of course, even the market now, it's moving to what my take profit would have been, but for me to just hang in arbitrarily, because I want it to hit that level, is a good way in the long run to lose money, because the way I see it, I've got the power to make the decision to not trade. The market's always going to be there, and you can always make the decision not to trade and to trade. And oftentimes, not trading is actually the smarter decision, so that you can just keep hold of your capital and make it possible to trade another day. I don't want to labour that point much more than I already have. We'll talk about that in other videos, but let's have a look over at the market now, just for other opportunities that I can see. So this, at the moment, this AUDCHF, we can see that the bearishness is continuing, as I described. I'd anticipate it's too late now to re-enter on a new position for me. It is approaching this level here, which I would anticipate there could be some support there. Certainly, if it breaks, there could be some inkling that this moves with some vigor to the downside. But for me, it's not tradable at the moment with this approach I teach in these videos. So rather than go through each of them one by one. What I'll do is just pick out some that I had a quick look over before coming online. So USD CAD, what was I looking at on this? So USD CAD, looking to the daily, you can see we've got this lower highs, lower lows, some reversal type, well, at least toppy type candles that we saw a couple of days ago. And if we take this area that this interacted with, it's kind of a soft level of, you know, previous resistance, previous support, zonal support and resistance. It goes back further as well. So this area as well, because it's interactive with our standard deviation channel, the upper channel, I would anticipate that there could be some struggle with the price breaking through that. If it were to break through, then it will probably be quite a hard break. But what I was looking for on the lower time frames, now that the daily makes sense, is signs of bearishness. Now the 4 hourly as well has got some signs of being overbought in our standard deviation channel. We can see it's up around this level here, lower lows and lower highs as well. If we look to the hourly, just to help guide its decision as well, it is starting to flatten out, and it is this is why I'm hesitant to say, you know, short this at the moment, because in the most recent move on our hourly, this move up here is still inside our standard deviation channel. It hasn't broken price structure yet. So really, for this to make sense, I would say that it would need to, at the very least, break price structure. So start making a lower low by coming past this level here. And ideally as well, that would see it come outside of the standard deviation channel as well. And then the more conservative entry would be to wait for the price to pull back before shorting. But yeah, it's quite rangy at the moment. So that could take you know, the rest of today to materialize. If it does, possibly into tomorrow. I don't favor trading on Fridays, so yeah. That phone was going off there. Okay, so yeah, so with the USD CAD, this is something that would just like to see some more bearish signs appearing on the lower time frame. What else is worth having a look at? USD CHF. So USD CHF, we've got some classic lower highs and lower lows in terms of the price action. It's in kind of an overbought area in our standard deviation. Ideally, it would be interacting with this upper edge here, but no, it's, I mean, it's, we've got some context here in that. Let's just have a look at how this. I mean, it's not great where we've seen this. I mean, the 4 hourly is maintaining its standard deviation channel, and potentially we're seeing a reversal off of the top edge of this, which would give some credence to say that this level here, or if we put in a resistance level on the 4 hourly, because there'll be more contact points, this level here, right, where we've seen this previous resistance and support, zonal there, could have some trouble moving higher than that. Now the play on this really would be to wait for the 4 hourly candle to close. Now it depends which broker you're with, because the 4 hourly candle will be different depending on which time zone your broker is associated with. So you may already have a 4-hourly because it's 12:25 UK time here, and this MetaTrader broker that I use is on European time, so it's 2 hours ahead. So the next time this closes will be at 2 p.m. And I'm just taking you through the thought process here, just as to how you can plan, time manage your trade. I've made a decision. Yeah, there's some bearishness here. The 4-hourly is showing some good signs of bearishness, but I would want to see this candle close and the price move past the low of it. I know now it's 12:26, and basically it's another hour and a half until this candle closes. So I'd want to come back at this, maybe if I were to trade this at around 2 p.m. UK time, and I'd be looking for signs of the price moving past the low of that, if this is a toppy type of candle. So I'll have to come into what toppy candles and what I mean by that another time. But basically, it's found resistance off of this edge level here. And what I'd want to see as well is the price after 2 p.m. move past the low of that candle. And we'd see that as well, because in the lower time frames, what ideally we'd see is the price start to make lower lows and lower highs. So the price action I'd be looking for is it kind of moves down, moves up, moves down, moves up. Now there's a lot of speculation in that into what the price could do, but I know what I'm looking for to make this tradable. At the moment, this isn't tradable, so it's something to maybe come back on and review. Okay, so USDCHF. Oh no, I've already done that. So last one we're gonna have a look at is another USD cross, which was USD Japanese yen. Of all the setups, I like this one the best, but there's just one thing that's preventing me from going in it. So similar story, you've got nice lower highs and lower lows in this. It's in an overbought region. Seen some signs of interaction with previous resistance come support. In fact, let's use the 4-hourly for that, because there's probably going to be more contact points to make it clearer. So this level here, you can see where these highs had interacted here, which is yesterday's and the previous day's highs on the 4-hourly. In the daily. On the 4-hourly, we've got some previous support here. Probably goes back as well. Zonal here. So above those highs would be, tricky for the price to move past. I wouldn't be thinking of a stop loss above that. Actually, yeah. So I would be thinking of a stop above those levels here, because it clears quite a few of the price structures. It's not great on the daily because it's just above yesterday's highs, and what is going on today with this? So in terms of stop loss placement, above these highs, where we've got this alert here, is the levels that I'm considering. So just clearing these previous highs, lower highs, would be ideal. Now the problem with this at the moment is, for me, the hourly is still, it's not congruent with the other ones. At the moment, the hourly is still saying up. We've got higher highs and higher lows. It's within this standard deviation channel, and you can see it's just found support off of the standard deviation channel there. Started to move off of it, starting to move up. Now for me, this would make sense as a trade if we were to see the price break past these lows that we're seeing on the daily. You see, even on the 15 minutes, kind of double bottomed, but this is good price action that we're seeing on the 15 minute, because it's lower lows and lower highs. So it's this kind of move here, more granular is here, but I would want to see it break that level there. A more conservative approach is to wait for it to break and pull back, but many times it's how it breaks. So that's when I'm reading the price action, it might just, in a candle, it might just so I'd probably use the 5 minute for that. It might just, you know, trickle through and then pull back in the 5 minute, the next 5 minute candle. That's where using a lower time frame can help you get a feel for what the price is doing because of the way they react. It may just violently break through and you see two, you know, massive out of proportion 5 minute candles go consecutively one after the other. If that were to happen, I'd probably be more inclined to wait for a pullback. But I'll go into that in a bit more detail in other videos, but that should give you enough idea for how you could play the market today. So the USD JPY for me is the one with the best potential. There was also USD Swissy waiting to break price structure. USD CAD a bit choppy, again waiting to break price structure. Okay, hopefully that's been of some use. If you've got any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. And if you like what you're hearing, or you just want things explained in a bit more depth on a one-to-one basis, I do offer one-to-one coaching. Just visit the site at www.nextforextrade.com, and I can do sessions with you over Zoom or over Skype. But yep, if you, like I said, have any questions, just feel free to drop those in the comments below. All right, see you guys tomorrow for Friday's session. Bye.